just goes as a split pushing beast. He buys Static Shiv when he lacks the wave clear,
right,
and then he buys Blade of the Rune King when he wants to duel and split push somebody.
Yeah, so sometimes the innovation does work out, and in fact, if you guys missed that semifinal yesterday of sorry, not Final 5, but Fusion against TDK, I especially want to see you guys watch Game 2. That was an absolutely amazing match. And
Pod Hub
put that game on
LOLesports.com.
Yeah. But we've got a different semifinal in front of us now, guys. Game 2 between Final 5 and NME eSports is here. And the question is, what adaptations are going to happen? Well, Final 5, they drop the Hecarim ban. They add the Nidalee ban. Now, they first picked Nidalee last time. Maybe they first picked Hecarim this time and just keep the same, essentially, 4 champions in that first 4 sets.
Yeah, now they want to... They banned away their own Nidalee, so it means they have something else that they want to first pick here.
Right. He said they dropped the Hecarim ban for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
If they care enough, they could first pick it, or they go somewhere entirely different.
We don't want to leave it up because Flares stomped them with Hecarim last time they met. So yeah.
So there's the insta-lock. That's Final 5 getting blue team twice in a row. Of course, they chose blue side for Game 2. NME eSports chose red side Game 1. That's why we're seeing the sides stay the same here in this game. As you make your side selections before the series starts. NME eSports happy to take that last pick, though, and they say, okay, well, Flares, whatever you want in the top lane, feel free to beat him with it, because only really the Rumble's gone.
So what do you play into this top lane Hecarim right now? Because, like you said, Rumble, gone. Top lane, Lulu still available. They could do that, slow him down, get the polymorph, make him a little ineffective.
Sure.
But your lane presence isn't that high. Also, the double jungle.
Right. Well, we typically see when we first saw Hecarim show up and became like the de facto top laner in the LCS for like a week, it was the CC ranged laners, because you're seeing oftentimes it's TP Ignite Hecarim, and pre-6 he has no escape tools, so it's actually oftentimes quite easy to gank him. So you can harass him, who's melee only. You can then gank him with crowd control because he has no escape tools, and you play one of these hardcore damage-dealing tops and just get an early gank pressure champion. And Rek'Sai unfortunately banned, but something like that could work very easily for NME eSports. They do, as you mentioned, actually, they pick up the Lulu here, a ranged champion, and again they grab Cog, and then again could be Inox or Otter.
That's true. I actually want to touch on the AP Cog from last game, because on the damage dealt, Inox did 66,000 damage to champions.
Yeah.
66,000.
That's a lot.
The next highest on his team was Otter, 18,000. The next highest in the game was around 20,000. Like Veritas, or 33,000.
Yeah, he like 30k on Jinx.
30k on Jinx for Veritas. Yeah. Inox did twice the damage of the next highest person on the AP Cog as a poke champion. And also, on his team, he was 3 times more effective
than his AD carry.
I
mean, that is poke champions, to be fair. Like, that's what you're going to be good at.
You get more damage off, but the fact that he was able to consistently land his ultimate was amazing. And the Luden's Echo is a fantastic pickup on it. Every time you use a Luden's spell with Luden's Echo, it's 20 to the charge. It's not the static Shiv 10. It is 20 to it. Yeah. So all he has to do is run in circles as Kog'Maw and just lob his ultimate, and he will be able to stack that very quickly.
Yeah.
And the cooldown on it is extremely low. So just spamming that ability and managing his mana is very easy to do, and getting that high amount of damage off is great.
Absolutely, and we saw, of course, that Trashy done a good job of controlling the buffs as well, which meant that they got kind of just routinely repeated blue buffs there onto Inox, and did a great job. Final 5 backs up against the wall. This is their last game to prove they can make it to the finals here. They need to win this one and the next one, and Impaler goes back to that Lee Sin. He's like, you know what? I want to carry this game. Give me Lee Sin. Let's go. Early game aggression. He's going to be good at it.
That's true. The early game aggression from Impaler Lee Sin was something that he started getting really good at really quickly. And he didn't play that champion a whole bunch back when he was in Europe. He came over to North America, he picked it up, and it was his go-to champion to snowball games and to be a carry.
And it was good overall. Impaler, I think, can do some good things. We'll see if Trashy is able to still out-jungle him like the last game, but there's always a chance that Impaler finally gets those ganks in time, gets there first, and makes those ganks actually stick. Lee Sin, definitely a great early ganker. He's one of the very few players we still see play him, though. As Lee Sin, you talked about meta champions. Becoming less popular, but clearly still something worth mastering if you're good at it. NME eSports continue to lock in a few more supports, though. They've now got Janna as well, and that tank Gragas No, Nami as well. Interesting. I actually love Nami Cog as a duo lane, though. This gives me a little bit more confidence that actually might be Otter playing it. But Trashy happy to play Gragas again.
Yeah, I think it's going to be that now. Because of the Nami pickup, it's going to give him so much lane pressure, so much trading potential, too.
Yeah.
Because every time you go up, you walk up and trade with the Tidecaller's Blessing, you're going to get the ebb and flow afterwards for the heal. So you usually come out on top in damage unless you get burst by like a huge chunk.
Yeah, but Zirene, I mean, she can do burst, but only after BF Sword. Like, you can't spell Shield Tidecolors. Kog'Maw gets a massive range disparity with W. This is one of my favorite duo lanes in League, and Zirene's especially weak against it. So, Final 5, their work is cut out for them. I just want to see him lane swap and have Hecarim jungle for a while.
Also, another thing, though, that makes me believe that this is going to be a lot on Otter's shoulders is they're drafting and protect the Kog'Maw comp.
Yeah.
It's a Lulu, it's a Nami that's going to give him movement speed from her passive. It's going to give them disengage with the ultimate. And also, Trashy back on the jungle Gragas is going to give them disengage with ultimates and slow zones as well. So a lot of peel here for this Kog'Maw that can make him an absolute beast, and I think Otter's up to the task.
Well, speaking of peel, though, how about the opposite of peel? You've got a Twisted Fate in here for Gate, and a Nautilus picked up, a support Nautilus here for Sheep. So unless you grab Morgana, which, by the way, got banned, you've got no way to deal with the significant amount of target initiation. Final 5 can ludicrously, easily reach this Kog'Maw here. And now the question is, do you pivot? Like, do you change the comments? Like, you know what, never mind, let's grab another good backline threat that you can only pick one. The other one can set up, you know, for the team fights. We've seen that NACS can play that far back that AP Cog would be fine here. You're not going to reach him with more than Twisted Fate. And then Otter just finds somebody he can play safe with.
NACS.
You play the poke game again.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a really back and forth here. Like, he should go, like, he could go with something that scales really well and like try to just survive the lane phase on Inox in that last. Like, it could be like he could go back to AP Cog mid, but I don't think that's what this is going to be. I think that they're actually okay with all the dive on them, that they just want another threat, so that you don't only pay attention to the Kog'Maw, that you have to respect something else.
Well, they have to respect 5.6 Kassadin, and they do. So, Challenger Series, the first league to play on 5.6 here in the pro, semi-pro scene, and Kassadin for Inox. Now, of course, there were the changes a while back that made his jump much shorter. Got increased a little bit. Cooldown went down, and now the stack duration for the increased mana cost and increased damage has been shortened a bit. So, going to see how Inox could bust out new Kassadin.
We actually had this conversation earlier today. Yeah. I think this champion, new Kassadin or changed Kassadin, is actually extremely powerful and extremely hard to catch.
Absolutely.
And kind of shoots off in Power Spike a little bit earlier than the previous one, because you get more Rift Walks over time than you did previously. You actually, despite the distance going down, I think it's 200 range now, all said and done. 200, 250. 200
like total nerf from the prior version.
But you will get 2 of those off in the time that you would have gotten 1 previously. So the overall range you travel is higher.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's
more damage. It is more damage because you get more off.
Right, exactly.
So I think this champion is extremely strong. Right
I agree. Like, the actual math on terms of distance per mana is almost identical because of the mana cost reductions. The burst mobility is lower, meaning you have less surprise factor. But as you said, sustained mobility is high, sustained damage output higher as well from landing the ulti on the people. And if you get a killer assist, or you just get the empowered W onto a champion, you restore so much mana back, you guarantee us another R, no matter if it's fully stacked or not. So I do agree with you. I think Kassadin can be incredible, especially because I think you're going to rely a lot more on the R for damage, and it's a different combat pattern people aren't necessarily used to.
Yeah, and also you're going to be trying to reach this Kog'Maw who's going to be damaging you from the back lines with so much peel. This Kassadin is going to dive your back line and try to burst down your front line at the same time. So there's a multi-threat team here coming out for NME. But I do want to jump over to what Final 5 have, because Gate got his Twisted Fate.
Yes.
He got a champion that he loves to play, but he also hasn't gotten to play very often. They have a very dive-heavy comp. Hecarim, Lee Sin, Sivir with the ultimate to get everybody in there. The Nautilus with point-and-click lockup. 4 CCs, 4 types of CCs. Yeah, exactly. The Sivir ultimate to get everybody in there, but also the Twisted Fate to ulti and get to the back line too. They have a lot of dive, so the question is, how much is this dive going to affect that Kog'Maw with so much protection and disengage?
It's going to be interesting to watch, certainly, the very different comps battling back and forth, and you got to see who ends up playing those crazy situations a little bit better, because it's going to be explosive, and one team's going to win those fights pretty quickly. Now, we do have a slight delay. There was an issue loading into the game, so it's being remade with the same picks and bans. We will get ourselves into the game as soon as possible, so please bear with us. I'm going to say about 2.5 minutes till we get ourselves in the game, give or take, maybe a bit more. But we're going to be getting the information, back on screen soon enough. When we want to, go back into the loading screen, show you the picks and bans maybe one more time at some later point. But back into the game pretty soon. Overall, they're going to keep the same picks and bans, right? It was a remake like right off the start, pretty quick and easy relaunch.
So I talked about how one team is protect the Kog'Maw, disengage. Yeah. The other one is let's engage, kill one person, try to burst them down, and just forward motion. The problem here, though, is the team that wants to engage needs to get a gold lead, or else they can't get to that Kog'Maw and get through the shields. Because if Flares is able to have a free farm lane, he's able to protect the Kog'Maw a little bit too much for this team to handle if they're behind. So both these teams, whichever one gets a lead, can snowball it fairly easily in team fights.
Absolutely. I mean, there's so much dive potential on one side and so much siege potential on the other, and even split push power too with Kassadin. I think one thing that really does matter to me a lot here is how many items Gate gets. Hecarim gets 1 damage item. You finish Trinity Force, and you really don't increase your damage profile anymore. Levels barely matter. You're going to buy some tank items. The CDR on your Q barely matters. So that's the limit of the burst. Lee Sin is going to get the Warrior enchant, build tank. He's going to damage spike really early on. That's it. Nautilus never builds damage items. He's not going to go up in damage either. There's just baseline of damage is going to be reach and then never improve except for TF, right? Maybe Luden's Echo, maybe Lichbane, maybe a Void Staff. What items will he have? That's a question. And they have to have enough damage that, as you mentioned, breaks through all the shields. Nami can heal. Nami can exhaust one of these guys, by the way. She brought exhaust into this game. Lulu, solo lane Lulu, has a lot of shields and health to give as well. So it's going to be pretty contentious. Is the damage high enough?
I'm not 100% sold on it, but it really depends on what Rux does as this Hecarim. If Hecarim starts snowballing that top lane and affecting the entire map and gets away with having that ignite to stop the heals coming in, then Otter could just get dropped very quickly.
Yeah.
We've seen Hecarims run away with games very quickly and have a huge amount of burst damage.
I absolutely agree. We'll see if we can gallop away with this game or not. Gate is chilling in the mid lane against the NACS. We've got to see how this matchup will play out. It's a matchup I think we typically considered in Kassadin's advantage, just because he has kill pressure on TF. In just kind of a general setting of League of Legends, at least back in the day with old Kassadin. But of course, kill pressure exists with TF gold cards plus Lee Sin existing. Final 5. Look to play a bit of an engage, or a bit of an invade. Of course, they know they got warded on the way through. But the 3-man invade team will be fine here. A deep ward onto the Krugs to spot with a jungle start from NME eSports. And looks like they will be safe. All right, so deep ward for Final 5 that will track jungle starts. No such luxury for NME eSports. We will have matched lanes.
I think Otter might have gotten jealous of the damage that Inox did last game. Took his Kog'Maw away from him. Said, you did three, almost 4 times the damage I did. It's time to swap. It's time to get my time in the limelight.
Get his own carry pants here. So Final 5. They start Krugs. I like this a lot. And in fact, with Hecarim jungling over the Wolves, he's actually soloing them. Enemy has no knowledge of what the actual land assignments are of Final 5. Again, these guys got no deep wards down at all.
Now, both lanes not showing, but they are going to show up with an experience advantage both top and bottom.
Yeah. And poor Impaler, by the way, he gets no leash whatsoever, and half his jungle's already gone. The only camps left are Red Buff and Raptors. That's all he gets.
Get some of the harder camps, too.
Yeah.
He's gone through both of his potions. He'll be fine, though. He's Lee Sin. He'll get his level 2, and he'll be able to clear this. Some of those are a little easier. He'll have his smite up for red, so he'll get HP back. So his jungle clear is fine, but Trashy immediately goes towards Scuddler to protect his bottom lane.
Interesting. And actually, speaking of protecting their lane, though, Rux, he bought a green ward and a couple of extra potions on his trip back to base, so he's actually safe until about 5.5 minutes. And I don't know if Flares actually saw that ward get put down. Trashy taking a bit of a longer jungle route because of the Scuttle grab pickup. Lee Sin could still lane gank potentially, except for the fact that there was a ward on Tribrush that got put down by Body Drop.
He's a little bit lower in HP, though. He's on the mid side right now.
Yeah.
Ganking, though, he'd have to land all his skill shots. But he goes to clear the Raptor camp, and that's going to put him a little bit under.
Lands on Otter, though. Good early trade. The Q missed, though. It hit Body Drop instead. Veritas will not get a lot of extra damage out here. And until the man gets Spell Shield as well, it's kind of easy to poke him out. Body drop here again, gonna find a nice trade. Bubble doesn't guess it right though. Body drop.
Go in on him now.
They don't want it though. Just a bit of damage. Okay, there's the Q, waiting for cooldowns. But they're not chasing too hard. No all-ins.
Sheep still has his hook available. Sheep was a really big Thresh player. We saw his Thresh last game. He had some good hooks that got Final 5 an advantage in the mid game. And now he's on another hook-based champion with a little bit more CC than Thresh. So when these team fights come out, his itemization towards, I assume it's going to be a Righteous Glory to help this team get even further into the backline and deal with the Kog'Maw, is going to allow him to get more CC off over time. So I want to see how he plays it, and if they just start hitting people like Nami, possibly blowing her up and trying to sustain through the Kog'Maw, because this Nautilus does get tanky very quickly.
He does, and that's going to be very tough to deal with, although I suppose NME eSports has some tank busting with the really big Kog'Maw if he stays safe. It's the right champion to break down this sort of 3 melee beef lineup.
But he can only do so much.
Of course.
He only attack one person
at a time. Can't kill everyone.
Hurricane.
Hurricane Kog'Maw. Come on, just pretend you're Callista. No big deal, right?
I've seen some Kog'Maws do that.
I tried it, didn't like it very much. One thing to note though is I want to see what the sustained damage of Inox really is here, because he's the only real damage dealer there. Gragas going to build tank. Flare's just not going to do a lot of damage on Nami. So weight on 2 people's shoulders, but they're the 2 best performing members, at least score-wise, of NME eSports. So pretty good hands. Trashy will not find himself a counter gank in the mid lane. Nothing doing from Gate. Again, the hook's going to land. Good bit of damage there. Pops the E, then goes for the auto attack to Root, and Otter takes a lot of damage for this one. But they push back on a Sheep who's down to 200 himself. Top lane fight comes in. Rux hits the wrong target. He knocks back a minion and not Flares. That'll be nothing picked up there. I don't think they chase for any more kills, but... Oh, wow, Otter. Dodge that better.
He gets a heal from Body Drop, though, and now Veritas is out of mana.
So is Body Drop. There's no consumables left in this lane whatsoever.
Everybody's trading. Final 5 are actually taking a little bit worse for wear on these trades in terms of HP bars.
Flare will be the first one to TP back in with triple Doran's Ring.
Oof. He's playing for the lane phase.
Certainly is. And I mean, heck, if you could hold down Hecarim, his key power is the early game, and if you deny that...
Coming back with the Bling, and that'll do just that for him, too.
That's true. Clearly, we're not in the Diablo universe. You can only use 2 rings in most... actually, pretty much any RPG universe, to be honest.
There's some where you can have a ring on each finger.
Really?
Yeah.
I see that so rarely. That's the exception, you know?
It's called accessorizing. You can do it. So, some I see you can put 2 on each hand.
Really? That just feels weird.
I don't know why they would do that.
4 rings, a lot of rings. The flash gold card comes in. They end the Q into Inox, but he flashed the way safely. The jump in by Impaler jumps out, and Trashy's gonna trade one back. First blood, though, all the same. Advantage Final 5.
They also get to have Gate continue to push this mid lane out.
Yeah.
And they deny some CS from Inox.
Exactly, yeah. More gold overall, 100 bonus to the jungler, 50 bonus to the mid laner. More time in lane, a lot of good things overall. Final 5, signs of life definitely here.
And now Trashy's going to have to pick up this wave for his mid laner. But that means that closes that gap a little bit between Gate and Inox.
Wow, Rux just still trading in. Triple Doran's Ring Flare still pushed into his own turret. Wave clears safely, though. Equal CS, 49 to 48. Basically the same as they both recall once. Looks like Spectre's Cowl first for Rux is the order of the day. Just to survive this matchup once again. I mean, it's a very magic damage heavy team composition. NME eSports. Even Kog'Maw is actually oftentimes more magic than physical on his damage profile. Just depends on the amount of poke he puts down.
It's a really defensive build from a Hecarim. Usually you'll see, if it's a matchup like this, Merc treads first.
Just try to hit the guy.
It gives you defense and offense, and then you can get home guards very early. Look at this, he's got the kickback.
Board hop, great kick, body drop, forced to flash away, has to heal himself. Summoner heal used as well.
A lot of damage there, a lot of summoner spells blown from that bottom lane in exchange for none.
That was Final 5. So good by Impaler. That was incredibly clean. Very, very impressive here. Flares, though, still pushing around Rux, and you can see life getting hard for the Death Pony. It's going to be okay. Flares can't get this kill, I don't think, but Teleport is down for Rux, and it's actually going to be a freeze. Flares should freeze this.
Nope.
Okay, he's gonna shove it and just re-recall? If he wants to match recalls, then I understand shoving. But only, like, here's the thing. If there wasn't an item breakpoint to reach, although he's actually right at Fiendish Codex money, which is, you know, 820, you could let it freeze, immediate recall, come back to lane, and you just, like, deny it a wave and didn't lose any minions yourself. But he wants turret pressure. He can maybe clear one more wave, and then... This is so weird. Is Flair's going to recall now?
It's a little late.
That's really weird. Now he's actually going to miss golden XP if he does so.
Oh, knockback.
Wow, what a good knockback. The Q barrel misses, but who cares? Gate's going to fall for this one. Amazing gank by Trashy once again. And Inox gets back into this one.
Yeah, body slam flashes, but just to get in range for that extra barrel explosive cask. Rux does come back with the Merc Treads, though, in top lane. So he does go for those early things.
Okay.
Wasn't going for the Spectre's Cowl.
Just Ruby Crystal to have it because he's going to get that item. I guess, yeah, you're right. It's part of Triforce, of course. Yeah. I don't know why I thought that at all. Rux, though, still trying to trade back. And of course, you have to. In a matchup like this, you have to take some fights, and you have to choose them so wisely. Trashy off the mid lane gank, goes for the blue buff steal. Impaler's aware of this, but he's walking through wards doing. Ulti in from TF. Will they find the fight they want? Trashy gets out. In comes Twisted Fate, and Rux is on the wrong side of the foot.
Red card.
Red card picked up. He's going to get ejected out of his own jungle for that one. Trashy, though, still in the side of this trade, but the kick puts him over the wall. Ignite, and Rux gets the kill, and a blue buff. Inox, oh, barely out of the Q range of Lee Sin. Impaler could have gotten more.
They trade 1 for nothing, though, and they get to shove this mid wave because Inox has to back right now. Gate brings out the wave clear, and now they can get some substantial damage on this turret.
Wow, what a good turn of events there. Rux making his way down in time. Very impressive.
Bot lane's been shoved out too.
Yeah, this dual lane's going pretty well. Just a push lead.
We haven't checked on it in a while.
Well, here's the thing is these champions get really different recall timings. Veritas managed to not get harassed enough to deny the BF sword recall. And Otter sitting on like Sheen and part of a phage is just not very powerful in itself. And it allows Final Five a really good push lead, and they go for the turret kill, and then they want to balance the wave. So very impressive stuff.
That actually looks like it's going to bounce pretty effectively. It's going to take them another wave, but it'll end up pushing back, and it depends on if Otter lasts.
Oh my god, Rux! Oh, pops the ult from Flares.
Yeah, Rux doesn't have his Ignite or his ultimate. He used them to get that previous kill, but you can see the amount of pressure this Hecarim top is bringing out now.
This is what I was worried about with Flares. When you saw him do that top lane push, his opponent recalled. Rux got items, and Flares stayed with low mana and not buying anything. Only gets cooldown boots and wards in this recall. That's like barely combat stats at all. I'm a little bit worried for Flares here.
It's utility stats.
It is.
Point. I mean, cooldown is a combat stat, so.
Yeah, I mean, it matters some.
But the big thing here for me is I like the build path, build order from Rux. He would have died if he didn't have Null Magic Mantle, Ruby Crystal.
Yeah.
He was pushed under his turret. He was very close. He's 1 Glitter Lance away from dying. But also, if he didn't have that Null Magic Mantle, he would have taken substantially more damage.
Oh, absolutely.
So, and even if it's like, oh, he went Null Magic Mantle Boots, he wouldn't have had that Ruby Crystal for the HP to survive.
Yeah.
If he had gone Ruby Crystal Longsword, he wouldn't have had the Null Magic Mantle. So that buy actually saved him.
Yeah, I mean, if he went Boots, I mean, maybe like he has the ability to disengage a bit better. But either way, it obviously did work out for Rux. Props to him. He's got, of course, home guard on his Merc Treads as well, so his ability to recall and get back to lane is very high. His ability to, of course, make amazing TP ganks is even better. And Flares is, you know, he's going to be utility for the team, but I don't know how much he's going to get accomplished for his team.
And that's one of the lovely things about Hecarim top is once you get those home guards and you rush them, it means that you almost never use your TP to get back to lane. You just recall, run straight towards that lane.
Press E and walk, and you're going to be just fine.
And so you get to save it for those engages, for those flanks, for those TP rush-ins with home guard.
Well, speaking of flanks and rushing in, Body Drop actually switches himself to the top lane here. Looks like NME eSports want to get out of that lane. So much pressure from this Sivir, and they want to hold down Rux right now.
I'm surprised that Veritas didn't leave his lane and go start shoving mid or top, because they got that bottom turret. Dragon's no longer on the field. They picked it up, and so he's just free-farming the bot lane.
I mean, their goal was denying COG, right? NME eSports rely on Otter. The turret went down. Instead of pushing, they tried to freeze the lane, saying, I dare you to walk back here. We have a Nautilus ultimate. I dare you, NME eSports. And NME eSports didn't dare. They lane swapped, and Final Five's going to do the same thing. Look, there comes Sivir. She wants to fight Otter's Kog'Maw and try to hold the key of NME eSports down.
Oh, especially with this advantage that he has, because it's a competition that's made around the Kog'Maw, and you could chase him down with the Sivir ultimate, with the point-and-click Nautilus ultimate. You're up 20 CS, BF, pickaxe, boots completed to parts of phage, boots not completed, and a sheen. Big power difference here. This Sivir will chunk the crap out of this Kog'Maw.
And Impaler sneaks in for the lane gank. Hook, wow, is going to hit Otter, and there's the engage. More knockups come through. There's the Q. Otter's got nowhere to go. Gate even arrives, and Sheep holds Zachary. He's got to get out, though. This is his last hit on the turret. E comes through. Body drop certain to die here. Does not have flash. Kill picked up. Actually, wow, the trade kill from the Cog passive does manage to kill Sheep, but worth it. And top lane can go down to the turret.
Did Veritas heal late? It looked like he healed late there. Didn't get the heal on Sheep.
Yeah, I think he might have been ignited as well to deny how much that did. No, wait, sorry, because it was just exhaust. Yeah, there's no ignite in the lane. Yeah, you're right.
I think he healed late just for movement speed.
I think you're right.
When body drop looked like he was about to get away. So Veritas not really in range to heal Sheep, or didn't even try at that point.
No, unfortunate there. Mid lane Outer, though, does get killed. Trashy comes mid lane to help Inox, who stayed. But Veritas will make this a 2-turret kill game for him. Pretty happy things overall. Final 5 looking very good in game 2.
And I like the strategy of camping the part of the team composition you don't want to get off the ground.
You know what's funny? They played this exact matchup last week, except it was Final 5 playing the Kog'Maw, and guess what? Their lane got dumpstered by NME eSports, and the Kog'Maw never got off the ground. Switch compositions, Final 5, dumpster the Kog'Maw, doesn't get off the ground.
Yeah, they got that top turret too, so both turrets down. Now where do they... Oh, invade here.
They don't get the knock back, but you know it's going to be enough damage all the same. Gate might try to re-engage. Sheep is around. No depth charge.
Ruck's on the side, though.
Just the 1 for 0. Nicely done by NME eSports.
Yeah, Trashy and Inox, that combination, the two highest KDA members next to Otter on this roster, just everybody has amazing score lines. Just the fact that these guys synergize so well and have that mid-jungle synergy is extremely scary, because no other team seems to be able to match that.
And right now, the NME eSports jungle mid duo both hold a 75% kill participation in this game. Veritas, well, look at this. They're playing the long game. He's building a freeze. 15.5 minutes in, trying to build a freeze to continue to deny gold and experience from the enemy team. They realize mid lane Outer not easily killed. They're playing the long game, denying as much gold as they can. Now they broke the freeze.
Nope.
Never mind. Immediately breaks that. Whatever. Clear wave in. But I want to see then, what does Final 5 do with the lead? They are ahead. Cog has to still scale up. Triforce in, I still don't think is enough for them to feel good about this. I feel like Final 5 still has free reign over the map. I want to see what this team does with the lead. They get it pretty rarely against teams this good. So this is the test. Final 5, how good are you? What can you do with this advantage?
Right now it just seems keep Otter down. Inox is turning online, though. He's got that 30 CS advantage over Gate, and him synergizing with Trashy and roaming around is going to be very scary. So you have to look at Rux and Veritas and what they do here from Final 5, and how Impaler gets his kickbacks on that Lee Sin. Because Gate is not going to be the one starting these fights. He's going to be coming into the fights a little late. He lost his turret, so he has to play a little further back.
Yeah.
But he's going to show up to these fights when they start.
And you can see, like, you talk about the fact that he's going to be showing up second. You can see it in his build.
Yeah.
He's building high CDR, so he can always show up when he wants. He does Zhonya's late. It might not even be a Zhonya's off that NL rod. So he can't go in first, not till Zhonya's is done. And he's just waiting for, like, if something happens, I will be there. I will promise that I will be there, and I can wave clear until that happens. That does give a free lane to Cassidy, though. He's not really getting pressured. TF's not opening a lot of plays himself. And that just lets Inox farm and farm and farm and farm, and unsurprisingly, he's ahead in CS like he always is.
I really want to see what this Twisted Fate builds. I want to see what Gate ends up building, because you want every death cap item. Or sorry, item.
Yeah, you want all three.
Because Luden's Echo, Twisted Fate loves movement speed.
You can debate Luden's Echo versus Lichbane. I actually think on TF, Lichbane's better. Because that item does more damage. Because you're going to auto-attack them.
Yeah.
Right? You just get more damage from a Lichbane than you get from a Luden's. You both give move speed. They both give similar amounts of ability power.
Why not both?
I don't think there's room. You need a Void Staff, you need a Zhonya's, you need a Death Cap. There's no room after that.
Why not both?
If you sell boots, maybe. But even then, I think Magic Band's the right choice. Either way, though, Dragon #2 attempted here by Final 5. And that's what they've chosen with their map control. They played the slower game. They got the Dragon. Flares is getting side lane farm, but that hardly matters. Lulu just does not scale very hard. And he's now being beset by this Hecarim. Enemy eSports can't even get their dual lane, their Kog'Maw, to go into safe lanes. Once again, the lane he goes to hides all the way back at tier 2 turret. He knows he can just die to TF out of nowhere. there's so little vision that they can't even keep Otter safe right now. NME eSports is a test for them. How do they play from behind here? They're so rarely behind. And even though the gold went back to equal, I think there's a lot of gold waiting to be picked up around the map as waves get pushed back in. Okay. Items get picked up. It is Zhonya's second.
Looks like it is. Just so he can get to that back line and have no fear of diving Otter as they reach the team fight phase. And then he starts grouping up. This bottom lane, though, is getting shoved out, and they're going to need this answer. Because Veritas is now, they're once again funneling farm into him. He's in this mid lane up against NOCS.
Okay, Nautilus around the wing. Sivir is going to roam down. They give up pressure on mid lane, though. Sivir walks back. She had a small window to try to pressure, went for Raptors, and didn't find a gank. Mid lane will have to be re-cleared one more time. Blue buff response for NME eSports. They grab that for themselves, and Veritas. It's interesting how Final Five's comp works because pretty much pick any three and they can engage and probably kill their target. Veritas could be part of it, Gate could be part of it, Rux could be part of it. Kind of pick any. And you got yourselves a team fight. Sheep's gonna look for Otter.
Oh. Didn't get the ulti off there. Oh,
Body slam and a ton of burst. Gate can't do a single thing. Trashy explodes the poor fool.
The immediate reaction there from Otter, but they're going to keep going after him. He has so much protection, though.
But a big Lulu ulti. The ulti still comes across for the stuns. Ignite is on. They get the damage out, but there's no one left to knock down Rux, and Veritas walks in to get some mana back. They finally trade the kill.
Sheep not ulting right off the bat, got Gate killed because the flash back from Otter was able to just get more distance. He went for the hook and didn't get it.
Hooks in, lands on a minion, but the mid lane outer turret will go down. 3 turrets to 2 in this one, final 5. Though they're killing Otter, every time he dies, he actually gets a kill back for it. They're keeping him off the map for XP, but he's still getting 300 gold for these dives. Still keeping up in items. Ruin King's actually not that far away from the Kog'Maw. And he's surprisingly not being held down that much because the dives aren't as clean as they need to be.
It's going to be a problem, though, because he's still getting that gold.
Exactly.
He's still getting that gold, and that's what you need is the Kog'Maw to operate. Oh, doesn't get it, and Otter immediately flash heals backwards to put a lot of distance between himself. And then Trashy is already there for the counter gank. Putting Gate right into the turret.
They ping back, but it's too late. Roar!
Yeah, and Otter doesn't have his flash or his heal at this point because he initially used it to disengage.
Yep. That's the problem of being a Kog'Maw. And again, with Morgana getting banned away every single game, you don't have safety from enough damage. Right? If that much damage does come through, the shields aren't enough for you, and you can't get away with flash down. I want to know when Otter gets Distortion Boots. I think he needs them at some point in this game to get away from Hecarim ults.
I was thinking about that play over again. And it would have been a trade in either scenario, because if it had been Sheep's ulti immediately, he would have gotten flash and heal, and then they could have disengaged it. When he threw the hook, they got flash and heal, and the ultimate from Gate was already coming in. He was already in the position where he could be exploited. Look at this. Speaking of coming in on Gate.
Goodbye, body drop. Gate hops in, the flash is early, knock him into the wall, and Gate survives with red buff on him, and the minions are not going to take him down. Gate stays alive, and the engage still coming through. 2 kills picked up, and final 5 are on the hunt. Inox knocked around, but he can rift walk away. Rux, 1 hit from dead. Ignite is on him. He tries to heal off the minions, but it's not enough. A shutdown comes in, making it a 2-for-1 overall, but the re-engage. Otter gets hooked, but Sheep is going to die for that. And now how much more can Inox do? He can force Impaler's flash. Veritas misses the boomerang blade wide. Field goal for him, 3 points. And the top lane turret goes down.
Still have Otter on the chase, though. He has a movement speed increase on him.
Hexagon keeps Impaler safe. Veritas should survive this. And he does so. NME eSports make it a 2-for-2.
Back and forth. NME eSports get one of their first gold leads of the game, taking that top turret. It's very small. It's very minuscule. But they still get it for themselves. Off of the back of having this just engaged team fight from Final 5 that they capitalize off of by disengaging.
Taylor wants this. TP comes in. It's home guard TP. Good luck getting away from this one. Rux wants flares. He might get flares, but the Glitter Lance comes across in time. What a flash by flares.
He flashes out of vision, too.
Yeah.
So you can't continue by clicking on him and getting that E extra range.
Yep. Glitter Lance and Force Pulse just ruined his day. That was really nice.
The combined slows. Ooh, he gets a flash for his TP, though. At the end of the day, that's the trade that goes down there, and they lack pressure from that TP now.
Yeah, but the question is, it's not like they're equal summoners. TP Hecarim is a free team fight. Flash and Flares doesn't matter.
Yeah, he's not going to be a focus either. He's just going to be in the back line.
Happenstance kill.
It's a Luden's Echo on him first.
And that's cool. It gives him a damage profile. Like, I think that's fine. It's low CDR, so the repeated shields aren't there, but it's burst durability you care about, so I actually can't really argue with that build coming out.
I think it's good.
You talked about the gold lead earlier as well for NME eSports. What's important is where that gold lead went, because it was a kill and an assist for Otter in that team fight, meaning he's continuing to power up for these battles. Final Five are trying to hold Otter down, but as before, he keeps getting at least a kill every time those fights do happen.
They're trying to camp this bush. Think ward in there.
Well, it's Dragon 3, which actually helps Ruck Squid a bit and gives Final Five rotational play.
Whoa.
Hate ulti comes in. They don't catch flares off it, though.
Really?
These guys could pressure mid.
They're reaching. They're overreaching here on Final Five's side. They're trying to make something happen.
These guys could pressure mid.
The TP, the ultimate from Twisted Fate.
They're going to give Dragon, but mid lane tier 2 could take a lot of damage. Why? Oh, nice try by Impaler, but all he does is die for it. He's going to die. Yeah, he does. There's a kill, and it again goes to Otter. Mid lane gets pressured, but feels like a miscommunication. They're going to have to ult away from this one. The team should stay safe. Actually, no, I actually can defend that by Impaler. It's you're guaranteed to die, but a 50-50 on Dragon's not too bad. Now the question is, though, how much is picked up on the backside? Mid lane not completely cleared, which means NME eSports can keep pressing in their 5v4.
Yeah, it's once again back down to wave pressure. The game is even in terms of gold. More turrets can be taken by NME, though, because they only have 3 to the 4. This one is looking very tasty in their sights. Don't know if they have the damage to take it before anybody gets there, though, so they're going to overextend for it.
They're going to try. They fear in Otter. He gets healed. He gets knocked up as well, and Sheep's in the front line, but is there the damage output? Their jungler is still missing for now, and the burst poke coming out. Oh my god, though. The Ignite is on. The stuns hit, and Inox forced to run away. Very low on health, but there are no further engage tools. Gates ult still down.
Enemy actually spikes so early in this game with damage. They hit that mid game, and the fact that they picked up 2 Luden's Echoes, first completed item on Lulu and second completed item on Kassadin, that's a huge spike in your damage. This is not just your standard protect the Kog'Maw comp because of these items and the introduction of Luden's Echo.
Yeah, they managed to spike the other guys early. I really got to say, it's very impressive. And you talked about how Luden was good on Kog'Maw. It's good on Cass for the same reason. Runs around a lot, low cooldown spells. I like this.
I imagine he actually gets a lot out of, because the way that Luden's Echo works is you gain casts upon moving or casting, or
blinks
stacks. Blinks kind of count towards the distance that you travel.
Okay. So yeah, you're getting, what, 35 stacks maybe
every
40
time
off of Kassadin R? 2 Riftwalks to Luden's Echo, basically.
And it's a lower cooldown now?
Right. I mean, again, 2 Riftwalks to Luden's Echo charge, basically. That's pretty scary. Inox going to look pretty good in these team fights. Might be going for Void Staff or Death Cap next. Either one will give him a huge increase in damage. And Otter, 4, 2, and 1. He got the kill from the Dragon Steal attempt. So NME eSports have the gold on the right people. And that's scary because this Cog not getting held down.
No, this Cog is not getting held down. He's been sacrificing himself, but he's also been using his passive to get some damage.
Yep.
But not so much anymore, because the threats are coming up. The threats are showing themselves on enemy's side. Final Five do have a gold advantage, though, that's come from this extra turret take. That's come from some good wave management. They aren't falling behind and falling into that same trap as last game.
Yeah, and you are seeing a little bit of damage come out from these other members. You can see the Hexdrinker was bought by Impaler to try to spike his damage a little bit higher. But Gate went cooldown boots, not Sork Shoes, so his damage actually is comparatively lower than you might have expected from a mid lane TF. And you know, these are things that are very relevant because the game hinges on whether or not Otter dies in team fights.
They're looking for the flanks here. They're looking to see if they can get Rux around and that they can also get a nice flank from Gate with his ultimate.
Well, Gate's sent to the top lane. Split push, gonna be pretty strong.
Righteous Glory is completed for Sheep. Veritas has his ultimate. They have ways to get into this fight, but once they get in, there's a lot of damage from enemy. They have to be swift and fast on Final Five side and get priority targets down. And sometimes they might even have to go for something squishy first. Yeah. They might have to be like, all right, let's just get flares off the field. Let's just get Nami off the field. Let's get body drop out of there. So they don't have the heals. They don't have the disengage. And then they get the Kog'Maw afterwards. Because they do have some good sustained damage.
They do. They do have some good sustained damage, and that is going to be something to watch for here. They pretty heavily fed Sivir will be useful, and the max CDR TF can get some good damage down. Problem is, you look at the split push attempts. Okay, Ruck's going to do pretty well at that one. He's hard to kill. TF can try, but that casted and pick from NOCS is kind of like the natural predator of Twisted Fate. So good luck getting around on this one. Rux has to respect Flares at least a little bit. Triforce and most of Spirit Visage done for the guy will make him, I think, pretty strong in the battle, but Flares just continuing to stack ability power items. Death Cap is next.
He doesn't know that he's there. Rux is about to have Ignite. He's waiting on that. Ignite up now.
Minion comes in and spots him, and Rux doesn't want to fight.
Jumps up.
No. Lee Sin spotted on the way over as well. I'm on the way, ping sent by NME eSports. Looks like Gragas wants to do a bit of something about this.
The most helpful minion of the game so far. Sometimes they get you. Sometimes they get you vision and chase somebody all throughout the jungle. Sometimes they check a bush for you randomly.
Hey man, the minion wave stacked up at the right spot. It's gonna do good things for you. All right, so Flares, Luden's Echo into Death Caps on Lulu. He's 200 gold away from the combine on that. That'll be nice for him. Let's see what else we got going on here. Veritas, again, just playing the wave clear game. And the thing is, pushing is actually not easy for enemy esports. Kog'Maw without flash can't reliably hit turrets in front of the enemy team because you can engage on that guy. And Sivir has good enough wave clear that the holding pattern for Final 5 is pretty easy. It's a battle over vision right now, 40 seconds on Dragon.
Well, you talked about how easy it is to catch Kog'Maw, but he got a QSS for himself. Look at this, they're collapsing around gate. He's about to get blown up. And
yep, there's the kill picked up. Nice play by Flares and NOCS together. Natural Predators we talked about. Now Flares stays alive with the ulti and Rux forced to get out, but he's one hit from dead. Barrel comes in, double kill for NOCS. Impaler with a nice kick on back, but NOCS can just hop right back away. Level 15 on Kassadin. Impaler the next target. Oh, the knockup on Otter, but he does not have turret aggro. It's Flares, actually, which means enemy esports a bit safe. Trashy walking away and stays alive from this tank Gragas. 2 for 0.
2 for 0 on that one. Flares, that Luden's Echo, you saw the amount of damage he did there with a Hell Pick's Glitterlands, half of Gate's HP. Gate was not expecting that type of damage.
Poor Gate doesn't have a whole lot of durability on himself, and it's just easy to knock him around. And now, Dragon attempt number 2 for enemy esports. They have now tied up the gold game once again, and they've tied up the Dragon game as well. Turret destruction now, the buff in play. Otter can play Siege a little bit better now.
And with that QSS, it's going to stop him from getting caught. The Twisted Fate jumping onto him, he'll immediately cleanse a gold card. He can get out of the Nautilus route and a lot of his CCs. Look at this, they're going after Flares again. You saw the damage he did last time, but they're going to try to poke him out first.
Yeah, he's gone. Flash comes in, auto attack, one more Gate. Oh my god, has to flash for it. That's actually pretty darn good by Flares, but there's still some time for Final 5 to make moves. They're missing a top lane, that's a big deal. Trashy off in the wings. Good wards by him as well to spot Final 5 rooting around the map.
This gives them a lot of pressure though. Gate, oh!
Wow! The damage up, but the hook lands on NOCS. Be careful though, because Gate can die, and Trashy looking for some barrels. Knocks around on Veritas. Body drop though, a bit isolated, and Veritas wants this kill. Flashes 2 auto seal the deal, and it's 20 seconds now with Flares dead, and Otter forced to flash away as well, but Rux loses him health with this one. NOCS is very scary on this Kassadin.
Yeah. That's a huge Kassadin at this point. He made it through landing phase with a CS advantage.
That's incredibly impressive. In Final 5, all they get is 2 kills, and it's not a kill on Otter. He's not beset really whatsoever on this one. He's not held down. Enemy esports regain map control with a dead support. We said Kassadin would be good.
Yeah.
He's good.
Yeah, Kassadin is really strong. You can see how much mobility he still has in these fights. People were saying, you know, he's got a Rift Step. No. No.
Good enough. More like a Rift Stomp, just destroys people. Gate really needs an Abyssal Scepter. And he should have bought that one, probably second or third item.
Yeah.
Because he needs to survive. Like, it's a essentially 5x AP comp by enemy esports. Cog does some physical. He's going to have some eventually, but he went for a QSS here, meaning he's delaying the physical damage a little bit more here. You need an Abyssal Scepter on the big AP mage in the mid lane that's getting hit up by this Kassadin. And Gate, you can just see how much he's getting preyed upon by the Aurelia Kassadin combo.
I don't know how much I like the Warmogs on Impaler. You're going to take percent HP damage anyway.
Yeah, true.
And people need a lock it. People need a lock it on your team.
Yeah, you're right. Of course, Sheep could have gone for that one, but wanted the Righteous Glory. I can't say it's a bad choice. He just wanted the engage power.
He might be going for it himself now, but
they've each got components.
It just seems a little late because those mid-game spikes of double Ludens.
Yeah, that was really clever. The double Ludens really helped enemy esports so much to actually hold up in the mid game. and give themselves a bit more breathing room, and it was really impressive.
It's not a protect the Cogmon right now.
NACS going to carry you.
Exactly. It's a triple threat, actually, because this Lulu does a lot of damage. The amount of utility he has on top of it, because he didn't go for Sork Shoes, he went for the cooldown reduction boots, kind of covers the fact that he doesn't go Athenes, he doesn't go Morella Nomicon, and gets that early Ludens.
Yeah, he's got 20% CDR, which is moderate. Right? It's not too bad, but he's got no Magic Pen.
Yeah, which I don't think is a big deal at this moment. Yeah. I think the fact, I would be more happy with 15% CDR and 2 AP items than I would 2 AP items and Sork Shoes on Lulu.
Well, it depends on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to kill people, Sork Shoes is still more damage, but being a supportive top laner, I mean, ability power and cooldown, the literally only 2 stats you care about. Nice pickup by Final 5. Zirene still up. Gate uses Destiny, and they realize, hey, no one's anywhere near Rux. He's getting free 10 of split push top lane. Nothing that NME eSports can do about this just yet. Good rotations by Final 5. They are still staying in this game, and in fact, they're still holding a gold lead. We keep talking about NOX and Otter and how they're crushing, but Final 5 is doing a great job of playing rotations.
Veritas is doing a really good job of leading this team around and getting the damage off in team fights that he needs to get off. Rux is applying pressure with the split push. And here's the thing is, if you're split pushing against this team, this is a team that wants to be grouped up. They want to protect the Cogmon.
NME eSports unwilling to try for a Baron attempt. I can't really blame them. It'd be pretty freaking risky. They were around and chose not to. Enox playing wave clear, but you can see he kind of wants to keep getting back to base and keep buying things up. He's not willing to split for too terribly long. The playmaking potential of the Home Guard TP Hecarim and the Twisted Fate ulti on a low cooldown with a max CDR build is going to keep NME eSports playing honest. And so what Gate is losing in damage by not going Sork Shoes, he is certainly gaining in map pressure by stacking ability power, crushing minions down. But he can never take a one-on-one fight.
Yeah, it's true. It's going to be a big problem for them. Right now, though, I want to see how the strategy of trying to split the team up works.
Yeah.
The fact that they have that Hecarim top. Can Rux just continue to split push?
I think that's the goal. They are just trying to split these guys up. They even got an upgraded blue trinket on Veritas just to spot things out more. Just to add more vision. Double sight stone. Upgraded blue trinket. Ward dropper for Rux. Max CDR TF ulti. He's level 16 now, so that is 73-second cooldown. I guess he's missing a little bit. 1 mastery point, so that'd be 72 otherwise. Basically the same.
Yeah. Not Gate's best game just yet. He's 30 CS down. He has playmaking potential, though, with the Zonias.
Yeah.
He can get into the back line, cause them to collapse, and then Hecarim can capitalize on that. But Rux needs to be in position to do so. Right now, he's just funneling minions into that top lane. And now he's trying to flank. They're going to flank this. Flares are going to have to TP in if they actually get this play off. But they saw Rux come down from top.
That TP would have taken him 4 seconds, and it turns out Final 5 not wanting to risk their game on that. Of course, this is a survival match for Final 5. It is a best of 3. They're down 0-1. NME eSports, they win this game. They are in the Challenger Finals. They're relying heavily on Otter and Inox to carry them in this game. So far, so good for those guys. Final 5 trying to play split push. That's going to give map control away to NME eSports, though, as they had to control the bot lane wave. Impaler will try for the steal.
He's going to try it again.
Not going to get it. Oh. Hops out safely.
They were daring him to try it that time. Trashy didn't get the smite either. Impaler smites it early. Look at this. They're going after flares in the top lane.
And you go for Dragon. You go for your Dragon Tamer Lulu, and Rock's going to take him down. Hecarim preying on the low durability champions.
Here comes the entire comp. Rux has to run past this turret. It's such a low cooldown Rift Walk, though. If he wanted to, he could catch.
The flash in. Wow! Down goes Veritas. They trade back to the 80 carry. A solo kill for Inox. That's a good thing.
Gate continuing to push up this bottom wave, but there is no tier 2 turret for him to take. They already got it.
Yeah, the game is, you know, 1 kill to 1 kill. It was assisted, which kind of helps Final 5. But it's a Dragon that still went to NME eSports, and they now have the 5% movement speed buff. They now have the ability to rotate back and forth that little bit faster and try to stymie those plays of Final 5.
Very close game still. 2K up for Final 5. And Final 5 were very confident in their ability to play a best of 3 against NME. So this is the game that they're hoping to make a comeback in, or else they just lose the whole thing and go 0-4 total against NME throughout the season. NME, though, are going to counter in this mid lane. They're going to get this turret for themselves, but do they get engaged on?
Well, again, Flares has TP, but he's on the bottom side of the map. They know that. They don't choose to go in. They can burst people down in time before Lulu does her crazy things.
Her crazy things.
Well, shows up and presses R on someone.
She shows up. Her crazy things!
Ah,
what is she doing?
It's wild! Get it?
I got it. I got it. Man.
NACS.
See, people don't play against this new Kassadin. The cooldown on it is so low.
That guy's dead.
Yeah, he's going to get another one off, too.
He's trying. I mean, NX out of mana, but look at that. That's a W.
That's another
R. Bam.
New Kassadin is extremely strong, but they all went towards that bottom side.
All right, final 5. You got limited time. Flares is here. Veritas spell shields the Glitterlands. That's going to be Baron. Okay, now can you get away? It's a 5v4, and Kassadin is angry, but he's not part of the fight yet. They have to fight back. These guys can't run away safely. Severald's down. They go in for Flares.
Trying to turn it.
He wild growth, but goes down 1 for 0. Into the back
still alive.
They kicked up Otter, but he got knocked up by, oh my god, Nautilus and stayed alive for it. And Inox is going to kite back. Body drop trades in, but here comes Inox. He's going to kill everybody. 4 members dead for only the pick on Flares.
Oh, they removed all of the Baron buffs except for Impalers, and now it's actually just a 1k gold lead for Final 5 after everything's all
It's going to be less. They're going to kill at least an inhibitor here. 45-second respawn timers on most members here. NME eSports can easily knock down a ton here. They're not even going to go for the minions first. They're looking to practically backdoor this.
He's going to walk straight up to it. Veritas got a little too far forward as Inox was coming in, but it was also just a disadvantage for them because of the fact that Inox was still up. He had to just get all the way across the map to do so, but it was a huge, huge boon for the team that he was still alive and still had that blue buff ticking and got all his mana back by the time he got there.
You turned British there.
But
then he got here.
He got there. I was going to say here and there, and then I was like,
Get here.
Yeah.
You're like quick shot.
He's not British.
Kind of. Lived there for a while. Either way, look at this though. That Nautilus ult saved Otter. Impaler had a beautiful kick back, but they put both the rolls at the same time. It interrupted the knockback.
Veritas right here too. He just goes too far forward.
He wants Otter. He's like, we're gonna get run down. I think that's the right choice by Veritas. If the Nautilus ult had not been aimed at Otter, he would have been in the middle of the enemy team. He would have died. Inox likely still would have carried the fight home, but it would have been one more pick and a better situation for Final 5.
Otter would have been much closer to Veritas' damage output.
That guy would have been, he would have been dead. He had to flash away, get cleansed off the stun.
Yeah.
Just very unfortunate. A really just, that minor difficulty right there for Final 5. And at the end of the day, NME eSports, because they did knock down the inhibitor turret, and actually in 5.5, I think, and 5.6, inhibitor turrets are worth much less gold.
Yes.
Cracking that is actually worth the map control, but not a lot of money, and I forgot about that. So NME eSports are still nursing a gold deficit. It's weird because it feels like they're ahead, but they're not. There's still a Baron buff or 2 left on Final 5, although it might have timed off from Impaler now.
Yeah, they're ahead in damage output. They get the durability from flares being even, but the Luden's Echo just does a lot of work, and it's an extremely cost-effective item. Yeah.
What the fuck's dying? That's not the parts of Frozen Mallet. Longsword Giant's Belt.
Hex Drinker? Oh.
Brutalizer.
Brutalizer.
He's going Yomu's, I guess, or Cleaver, or just keeping it just for the.
They don't have enough armor to warrant a Cleaver.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna start coming in now that the Zonias are gonna be next, but yeah, you're right. They don't need a Cleaver.
The flat penetration would be better at this point. The 20 for himself. And the movement speed increase.
I think he can't finish Yomu's. I think he actually needs to just get the next tank stats in. But I actually would like to see double Locket. I want to see Rux buy that item.
I feel like Rux is at the point where he's realizing you don't need more durability against this team. You need more damage to kill them.
You're right. You're right. You need that burst.
Because they're just going to outlast you.
That's true. You can't out-DPS a Kassadin, not with Twisted Fate. And you can't out-DPS a Kog'Maw with Sivir either. So yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely right. The burst damage needs to come in. Only now is Gate buying MR. I think that's actually out of order at this point. At this point, just like get a Lich Bane. Try to one-shot somebody. I think it's already too late for defensive stats. Enoch's gonna look for a friend. She loses the shield. Yeah, they Righteous Glory and go nowhere.
Yeah, Righteous Glory to run away.
Literally did nothing.
It does not work like that. I see so many people use it. And it does not work like that. You have to be running at enemies for it to work. You get the slow, like a Randuin's, you get to hold on to it, but then you just double tap it.
Okay, they're buying time for Rux to push top lane. They're going to look for a pick here on a Trashy. Oh, gold card timed out though. Gate gets knocked in. He pops Zoni, but after the burst already hits him. This is going to be tricky. He's going to go down. 1 kill picked up. Rux pushing the top lane. The disengage from Impaler, but Inox is on the chase. How well can he kill Veritas? Really well, actually. Rux stays in the top lane, but NME eSports have the chase power. Inox, though, out of mana, has to W something. Flashes for it to land the mana restore, and that's going to be a kill onto Sheep. 3 kills picked up for NME eSports. Flares TPs to defend. They save the inhibitor turret. And here comes the chance at a game-winning push. Minions coming down the mid lane. It is a 5 versus 2. Rux TPs, but Whimsy goes on cooldown.
On cooldown, looks like they might save their base a little bit. Rux doesn't have any mana though. He has to get all the way back to his fountain.
And he has to dodge the Inox W. Here comes a push on in. Nexus turret number 1. NME eSports looking for the 2-0.
Oh,
they go in, they take down Rux. 1 turret left for NME eSports to reach the finals here. And looks like Impaler cannot defend the base. Another grueling fight, 44.5 minutes, but it's gonna be the 2-0. NME eSports into the finals.
And that means they are guaranteed a spot in the promotion tournament to play an LCS team at the least. Otherwise, they auto-promote if they get that first place.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one. So TDK versus NME eSports in the finals. And to me, it's a bit hard to rank those two teams because they had very interesting games, very close games overall in the series. To talk about NME eSports a bit more, though, Inox continues to be the real deal.
Yep.
14 KDA that game, 915 on Kassadin. That gave me nightmares, and I wasn't even in that game.
Yeah, 34,000 damage. Next highest was 23,000. Which was Veritas on the enemy team. So still consistently out-damaging people, consistently performing on whatever mid laner he picks up, and showing off the 5.6 Kassadin. Kassadin has, like, the thing with 5.6 is your stacks fall off faster.
Yeah.
5.5, Kassadin was almost operating the same way that he was there.
I don't think there was a situation where it would have been different, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's one of those sleeper things that people kind of overlooked, and that's the thing too, is it caught a lot of people off guard in this game. Final 5 did not seem to know how to handle 5.6, 5.5 post Kassadin, where he has the lower cooldown on the Rift Walk and the 500 range on it.
And the Luden's Echo adaptation, like you said that you thought Kassadin would be a little bit better earlier on than we normally see Kassadin's because of all the changes. Luden's Echo especially helps spike that, helps make that the case for him, where it was triple Doran's Ring Ludens for Lulu.
It becomes more
Roa Ludens for Kassadin, and then bam, these double AP champions are doing dumb amounts of damage you have to deal with. And you're right, it seemed like Gate wasn't ready for it.
Yeah, it's like Catalyst, Roa, and then boom, Luden's Echo. Like you just spike up so hard with that item in the mid game, and they push that immediately.
And it happened to line up with about 6 stacks on Roa, you know, as Gunna Gold comes in, so that's mostly scaled up as well. Either way, of course, a great game by NME eSports. Now joining us to talk about that victory is NME's jungler Trashy. Trashy, man, congrats on the win. You played absolutely great overall. Tell me about that series. It 2-0, but it was, I think, a lot closer than we were expecting.
Kind of. I don't know. We basically just picked scaling comps because we knew that they didn't really transition to the patch. And as well as we did. So we just played it slow. We knew that, like, no matter what, we could do small mistakes in the early game and still come out ahead. So it was not really, like, I don't think any of us was, like, worried in the game at all because we had pretty good control, I think.
All right, and I've talked to you a couple times about junglers and tank junglers, and you said you didn't like them at all. Are you now on the bandwagon with Gragas?
I just think, I mean, I would prefer to play stuff like Lee Sin or stuff like that, but as the meta is right now, you don't really gain much from playing early game champions because mostly people just play more safe, and later on in the game, you could just see how much impact I had compared to the Lee Sin because he didn't really do anything later on, and that is just how the meta is, and you have to adapt to the meta, and that's just how it is.
I actually want to press you on that a little bit because we see really successful teams. I'm going to bring up Team Impulse with Rush, who's still playing fighter junglers and playing for early game pressure. You know, watching NALCS and watching these pro teams who still seem to prioritize fighters, do you think they're just doing it wrong, or as teams get better, they can close out on early game leads?
It is, like, of course you can play early game comp and then just steamroll. I think last week we played on the same patch and we played Rek'Sai, for example, so there's no real you can still pull it off, but it is a lot harder and it's a lot more risky. Because if you do small mistakes in the early mid game, you just fall behind, and then there's no real comeback because they will just outscale. So we just played it out safe, and we knew that we were the better team. So why not just go the safe way?
I want to ask you about your move over from Europe. What has changed since you've been here in North America? What's the biggest thing that you've basically learned on NME?
So I was actually kind of depressed back in Europe because I had a lot of things going not my way, and then I got this offer, and I was like, this is a new start for me, and hopefully, I don't know how it's going to turn out, but I'm just going to give it my all. And yeah, I mean, I just learned a lot from my time in Europe, especially on my time on H2K. We had a lot of success, but we also had some bad games. And I mean, everyone from that lineup has shown, like in the LCS now, that they're good players, and I hope I can show that as well sometime. But back then, I think everyone just learned a lot about team communication and how a team works. So I'm just happy that I get the chance to hopefully get into LCS soon.
Well, you certainly look very happy, and man, congratulations on the 2-0 win. Good luck in the finals as well. It's going to be a really fun match to watch. So, hey, just good luck.
Thank you, thank you. And shout out to our great coach who's having birthday today, Brad, the lazy dude. Shout out to him for sure. He's helping us a lot.
Happy birthday. All right, well, guys, after today's matchup, here's the bracket shapes up. NME eSports, of course, they've advanced to the finals to face TDK live on the LCS stage in Los Angeles on April 8th. With the loss, though, Final 5 will compete for 3rd place on April 7th against Team Fusion.
And 1st place will replace Team Coast in the NALCS this summer, while 2nd and 3rd will battle to replace Team Dignitas and Winter Fox in the Summer Promotion Tournament on April 25th and 26th.
So if you can't wait until next week for more playoffs, well, you don't have to. On Saturday, the European and NALCS qualifiers kick off with H2K Gaming and the Copenhagen Wolves in a best-of-5 series at 8 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. That will be followed immediately by our live coverage of Counterlogic Gaming against Team Liquid. It's going to be a fun set of games, obviously.
Basically, wait for those quarters.
Yeah, the way that's going to work, by the way, to kind of explain the schedule, NA won't start until EU ends, and if EU ends super early, we're just going to kind of fill some time, and the games will probably still start at noon, but we'll be talking about the teams for plenty of time. There's a lot to talk about with those matches overall.
And if it ends up going past noon, we'll start immediately after the EU LCS is done broadcasting.
Exactly. Either way, though, it's going to be a whole bunch of fun this weekend, so tune in. And now with that, we've reached the end of our time together tonight. So for myself, Zirene, and the entire live broadcast crew, thank you so much for watching. We will see you next time, 6 p.m. Tuesday. Don't miss it.
Yeah. See you in a while, Crocodile.
Later, alligator. It's fun. Hook, wow, is going to hit Otter. There's the engage. More knockups come through. There's the Q. Otter's got nowhere to go. Stays alive with the ulti, and Ruck's forced to get out, but he's one hit from dead. Barrel comes in. Double kill for Inox. Oh my god, Nautilus stayed alive for it, and Inox is going to kite back. Body drop trades in, but here comes Inox. He's going to kill everybody. Oh, gold card timed out, though. Katie gets knocked in. He pops Sony, but after the burst already hits him. This is going to be tricky. He's going to go down. One kill picked up.